There's no question one of the great attributes we have in the United States is a really hot private sector. It's really good. Tariffs need to be used for one of many tools. It's a balance. We have a very diverse, very deep financial services sector. We need less regulation.
Hi everyone, Serena Diaco here, and welcome back to the Digest by A&D Mortgage, your trusted source for insights into the mortgage industry. In times of rapid change and market uncertainty, staying informed is more important than ever to maintain stability in your career and your business. That's why we've invited one of the top financial experts, Bob Diamond, CEO of Atlas Merchant Capital, to join us. Today, we'll cover pressing topics like the economic impact of the new U.S. administration, shifts in the mortgage market, and the rise of private companies filling gaps left by traditional banks. We've also listened to your comments and questions, and we'll address some of them during this episode. Stay tuned. This conversation is packed with insights you won't want to miss. Let's get started. Thank you so much for being here today with us and giving your valuable time and information to A&D.
It's a delight to be here, Serena. Thank you.
We're going to go through some questions just based on market trends, anything that you see coming for 2025, and also kind of dabble a little bit into politics. So my first question for you will be, you've been a part of this industry for over 30 years now. What trends or developments do you see in the upcoming 6 to 12 months?
I think we have to start with the economy is in very good shape. We have 3% growth, 3% inflation, well down from the 9% we hit in 2021, 2022. And we have unemployment at 4.1%, which is pretty much full employment for the US economy. So we continue to outperform every other country that we compete with economically.
And that goes right into our next question, the new administration in the United States. The United States has entered a new political chapter, and after this inauguration, how do you think this will impact the economy in a positive light and a negative light?
If we look at the big announcements, one was around tariffs, one was around immigration, one was around regulation. Each of those are going to have a big impact on the economy, and each are it's not clear exactly how they're going to play out in terms of magnitude or scale at this point. So, starting with tariffs, it's one of many economic tools we have to position the U.S. more competitively in the world. We can't forget that free trade and global trade has been a huge part over the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years, really from World War II, in the strength of the U.S. economy, the strength of the U.S. dollar. It's been a key part to why inflation has stayed reasonably low, because prices have been very, very competitive for most goods and services. It's allowed the U.S. to lead in energy, for the U.S. to lead in technology. So we have to start with, I don't believe we should be turning our back on global trade and the importance of global trade at all. And I think tariffs need to be used for one of many tools when we're trying to improve our position with specific countries. But I think if they're taking too far, they will be a supply shock. They will foster higher inflation, and they can create negatives, including retaliation. And I think the winds of change, which business is good, business is positive, integration of banks is good, consolidation of the regional and community banks is good, faster approval, faster acceleration, let's focus on the economy and good business, and recognize that one of the great attributes we have in the United States is a really hot private sector. It's really good. It's better than the private sector in most countries we compete with. We should be celebrating it. So I think on tariffs and immigration, we need some balance, but there's clearly change is needed. I think on less regulation, go, go, go. I've mentioned this in our session today, that in Washington, in the government, is a book, a very, very big book. It's called The Code of Federal Regulations in the United States. And
I
it
remember.
is 180,000
80,000 pages.
Ridiculous. We need less regulation.
Yes. Non-bank lenders are taking an increasingly large portion, of revenue in this business in today's market. How do you think non-bank lenders and bank lenders can compete this year, and where do you see the shift?
I think we're in a good position. Listen, one of the great attributes of our economy in the U.S., and one of the reasons that we have so outperformed everyone's expectations post-COVID, is because we have a very diverse, very deep financial services sector. As capital levels on banks were increased post-2008, it led to the development of private credit, more lending off balance sheet. But keep in mind that mortgages, the vast majority have been off bank balance sheets and generated away from banks, since World War II. I think we benefit from having both private lending and bank lending. I think we're also seeing increasingly some of the most successful non-bank lenders integrating with insurance companies who have big portfolios of credit that they need. And there's more and more cooperation between banks and non-bank lenders. And I think both are important to the economy, and it gives us a competitive edge versus the European countries and China and Japan and many economies that we're competing with.
So Bob, you've described A&D Mortgage as, a very attractive competitor in the non-bank lending industry. What do you think sets us apart from other non-bank lenders?
Well, I think many of the non-bank lenders have become very large, whether it's Rocket Mortgage or some of the others who were innovators 20 years ago or 25 years ago are now the big Goliaths to go after. So it starts out that we have really strong leadership with Max and the team, and leadership matters. Number two, we're still agile and mobile, witness our ability to execute on the Flagstar opportunity. Three, there is a commitment to and execution that we're going to have the best operations, the best technology, the best quality of anyone out there. As we look at providing mortgages to the millennials over the next 5 or 6 years, 70 to 75% of the millennials are going to get their first mortgage in the next 5 or 6 years, or get a mortgage in the next 5 or 6 years, and for many of them, their first. And what are they looking for? Client service driven by technology. They're not looking to go into some big conference room at JP Morgan or at Rocket Mortgage. They want it online, be able to test it with great client service.
Very true. I just got my first mortgage, and you hit the nail on the head. Bob, this is our closeout question for you. Thank you so much again for being here with us. Do you have any closing advice for brokers, and any advice or opportunities that they could take in the upcoming year?
I think the most important thing is for all of them to know they're part of an organization that has not only been successful, but that sees its best days ahead, that there's opportunities to grow. There's market sectors that we can enter that we haven't been in, and there's more business we can do in our key sectors. And I think for Max and the team, the biggest reason to do the acquisition of Flagstar and the integration of those teams is it gives us a new sector of the market, but most importantly, it gives us access to a whole cadre of talented people who are incredibly experienced, incredibly loyal, and understand how to run a successful mortgage business. So continue to grow, continue to grow. There's huge opportunities. Be ambitious, but be under control.
Thank you for being here, Bob. Truly appreciate it, and have a safe drive home.
Thank you.
Or flight.
Both. A little bit of a drive, a little bit of a flight.
Thank you for tuning in to The Digest by A&D Mortgage. Staying informed is the key to thriving in uncertain times, and we hope this episode gave you valuable takeaways. Let's explore some together. Share in the comments what changes in the mortgage market have had the biggest impact on your business. We're eager to hear your experiences and discuss them together. We are in this together, and your voice matters. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video if you found it helpful, and turn on your notifications so you never miss an episode. Until next time, take care, stay informed, and let's continue growing together.